He keeps walnuts or almonds in his pocket when he goes to
Which I
meetings
thought
or
was
something.
crazy. Blood sugar going up because you're not eating.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like, wait a minute, I'll eat. I'll eat.
so as promised, we are doing an interview with my sister Gina and my brother-in-law Van.
Hi.
And there's Jim. He's the little elf on the shelf today. So, we're gonna ask some questions and you answer what you want. And
Why are we asking questions? There may be folks who need refreshed on that.
why don't you tell them?
Okay. As you probably have guessed in watching a lot of our videos, we work hard to eat right and to make a difference, and we're convinced that we have avoided a lot of problems that we were developing, but we caught them before we developed them. And when we come across people who have had great success, and we've been watching these two and they've had some great success, we're impressed, and we wanted to share that with you because we know there are a lot of people who are saying, how do I this, how do I that, can I really accomplish some of the things I want to accomplish in getting healthy? And our answer is, we're pretty sure you can, not because we can explain all the medical whatnots about it, we can explain some of them, but we see it happening, and we know why it's happening because we've been able to know what was going on and what's going on now, and we see the differences. And that's what we want to share, are some improvements that we've seen happen for these two. How did I get it?
You're
Did I
pretty
get
good,
it?
elf on the shelf.
I remember. Okay.
So my first question is, well, I'm going to ask first, how long have you been a diabetic?
Since 99? 1999.
That's when he was diagnosed.
Okay, diabetic 2.
Now, what led up? I mean, diagnosed means something happened and you went in to say, hey, what's going on? Is that?
Yeah, what happened was I ate too much Halloween candy.
Oh.
At the end of October, 1st
At the end of
November.
October, 1st November, and it threw me into atrial fibrillation.
Oh, big
So,
wake-up call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went in and to find out what was going on, and they said, well, you've got atrial fib, and you're also diabetic.
Yeah, they said, you're a diabetic? We said, no. They said, you're a diabetic. Because his blood sugars were 300s.
Okay, so
Wow.
we're talking 18 years.
Yes.
So you really hadn't seen anything before that said, hey, diabetic, things are happening.
His feet were a problem. He'd always had problems with his feet. Probably already had some neuropathy going on, but didn't know what.
So just
didn't give it any
common
credit.
things that all of us say, I guess I've worked too hard, or I've
Right.
set too long, or whatever.
Okay,
Wow, okay.
so what was the turning point for you? If this has been going on for 18 years, what was the turning point for you?
Yeah, it had been going on for 18 years, up and down, up and down. I'd get better, I'd get worse, I'd get better, I'd get worse. And then I injured my right hip and went in for an x-ray to see if it was broken. It didn't end up being broken, but it was
Quick.
needed to be operated on because I had osteoarthritis.
Okay.
But they didn't want to operate on me unless my A1C was down far enough that I couldn't get possibly wouldn't get an infection. And
So where was your A1C?
First of all, let me explain for anyone who doesn't know what an A1C is, and you correct me if I'm wrong. It is a collection of your blood sugars over a 3-month period.
It's an average of them.
Average. Okay. So a normal A1C is between 3 and 6. What?
3 seems really low, but yeah. I mean, if we had a 4 to under 6, it would be great.
4 to 6.
The
Okay.
doctor wanted him to have an 8.5 in order to have surgery.
Well, let's find out what it was.
In November before this, well, when this happened, it was in November. I had an A1C. It was 13.1, which is pretty bad.
Oh my goodness.
He was naughty. Very naughty.
Wow. So that scared them enough they weren't going to do surgery.
Well, the
They
thing is, they
didn't know I
even
needed surgery yet.
Okay.
That was just on my normal up and down.
Oh,
So
wow.
I want to ask Nurse Rhenda a question.
He when he does
Hates when they
that.
put her on the spot, and I love it. A high A1C being a concern about having an operation like this. I mean, they're going in and they're making changes. Why is that a concern?
I'm probably going to have to refer back.
it was gonna triple his chance for infection. So that's why they're like,
And
no,
if there's an infection and they replace my hip,
an infection.
and the infection gets around the hip, they have to take it back out.
The titanium would actually attract it, so he can't have any kind
Because
of
he's got
infection.
so much sugar floating around in the bloodstream that.
And see, he told him he was diabetic, but he didn't tell him how naughty he'd been. He didn't tell the surgeon. And so they were all scheduled for June. And when they tested his blood sugar, they're like, whoa.
Can't
no.
do.
So
Wow,
then that's
okay.
when he went,
So
oh,
June was the time you had to, of this year.
of this year. But he'd actually
Well, I'd
knew.
been trying to get down since the 13.1, because that was really bad. And the doctor said, you have to do something now.
Okay. Do you have any idea, and you don't have to tell your weight, but how much more you weighed for the now when you were 13.1?
Because you were more than...
I was about 30 pounds to 40 pounds heavier.
Okay.
And when by the time we got to the decision and they tested me for the operation, I was down to 10.1.
Yes.
Yes.
And they said...
And they
yeah.
said, that's no
Too much.
You got to be 8.5 or better.
Okay. So, you made some changes.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Well, he basically made changes starting before that. We started May 27th because we were working really hard. But tell him what you did.
Or you can tell, I don't care.
Well, went to absolutely no sugar and very few carbs.
Okay.
It was a totally different diet from what I had been on. I thought I was doing well with the diet when I was dieting, and I'd get down, but I wasn't losing that much weight, and I wasn't going way down.
So, was this diet a recommendation from your doctor or from where?
It was just information we had gathered, and we didn't have as much as we do now. But it was making, like I said, it was making a difference. It just wasn't good enough.
So let me stop here, and I've mentioned this before to our audience out there, that we started ours 9 years ago, and we started following the medical doctor who's an endocrinologist, Diana Schwartzbein. Gina is the one who introduced us to her, and you used some of her stuff.
I did use a lot of her stuff on him, and that's why he would get better, and then he'd get kind of naughty and just get eating more. And so
Let's not call him naughty.
Okay, let's just say
You were
So-
naughty.
I ate the wrong thing.
I would cook the good stuff, and then he would go find other stuff. So it was just a matter of self-control and being disciplined to it, and that was really, really hard to make those changes.
It is hard.
So
is
that's
hard.
why it would get better, and the doctor would say, "Yay!" and then we'd go and they go.
And were you on medication for diabetes?
I was.
Okay, you were on
I was
metformin.
on metformin.
Okay.
And
The
then
doctor threatened me with insulin, and I said,
And how much
let's try
metformin
something
were you
else."
on?
1,000 milligrams.
1,000?
1,000.
Once or 500 twice a day?
He was,
500 twice a day, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the norm to split it like that. Okay.
Yeah, and see, the doctor wanted to would have put him on insulin years ago, but I said no, because of my friend that had been diabetic, been on insulin, and every time they gave her more insulin, she would gain more weight, she'd want to eat more, and the cycle just kept escalating. And I'm like, I am not going to see that. So I fought for him by diet stuff a long time,
Okay.
and we finally got really serious at the end of May, knowing that, because I knew his blood sugar needed to be down they hadn't really said anything to him, but I thought, we've got to get this under control or it's not going to work.
Okay.
So that's when we started really getting serious.
You gave up all sugar and you ate a lot of protein and a lot of vegetables, or?
Yeah, protein, vegetables, low carb vegetables, no vegetables like corn or
no starchy
vegetables.
Okay.
His body just didn't react good to it.
Okay, and how long were you on that before you got to go off the medication?
We have some right here. I'm thinking we didn't go off the medication. We tried to go off the medication a few weeks before the surgery, like the month before, and he started to climb a little bit because it was just cold turkey. Even though the doctor said we could, it didn't work. So we put him back on it to keep it as low as we could before surgery.
Reduced.
And then we gradually broke it in
So
half and
you
half.
started this
to wean
in
you
June,
off of it.
and the surgery was
October?
July 12th.
Oh,
Yeah, stop metformin June 21st.
okay.
So, and that was with the doctor's permission. That, you know, by then we were seeing numbers of 98 in the morning, 109, 126. We had got it down from 300 something to consistently
so
in
this,
the very
this
low
is
count.
like
His daily
5
blood
weeks,
sugar.
5 weeks, 6 weeks. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we had done, the part that we'd done that was kind of tricky is we were intensely crazy on taking his blood sugars because we were both home this summer prepping for this. We did it I had him eating every 3 hours, and we would take it before he ate and after he ate. He felt like a little pincushion. But we needed to see, well, does this food work? Does this food work?
You really increased your vigilance. You weren't letting it go 6 hours, 8 hours.
You were eating every 3 hours.
Because we found that if he didn't eat some of these good foods, that his body would throw whatever it in to make his blood sugars go up because it thought it was going to starve him. And so it would automatically go up. So it's like before it shot up, we'd feed him the good stuff and keep it down. And we literally set alarms to eat every 3 hours and had the healthy combo snacks like Schwarzbein.
What I'd like to find out, so then you got it down to how much before the surgery?
The A1C?
The A1C.
A1C just before surgery,
Right.
when they accepted it, was 8.8.
Okay.
And the only reason they accepted it is because we took all our documentation in
And they
that
said,
showed
okay,
him.
you're going down, you're probably lower than that.
It's an average, so
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
If they did the last 2 months, if they had that test, they probably would have been under 8.5.
Right. So you had the surgery. It was successful. You healed. I know it was painful, but you healed really fast.
Yes, extremely fast. I set records.
And they didn't
Wow.
expect that because he was diabetic, so they were really impressed. But his
Okay.
body was getting.
So I have a question for you before we get to, I know that you just went to the doctor shortly before we came. Okay. Between the surgery and the time you went to that doctor, you may have done this before, but you've had a change, an intrinsic change. What is that change? I mean, what has caused you to say no to everything with conviction?
Because it is hard. I mean,
It's really hard. And
everybody
I watched
knows
you
it's
at
hard.
Thanksgiving and you just walked away.
Yes, it was impressive.
Although
There
we
was
had
some good
food.
stuff. Yeah.
What happened was I knew that if my blood sugars went back up and I got infected, they would take out that hip and have to do it all over again.
And is that fear going to be the thing that propels you to go through for the next year?
Well,
or have
no.
a different
Right.
vision caught?
Now it's beyond that because I no longer fear that. Now it's just the satisfaction of knowing that I've progressed to the point that I wanted to be way back when.
And he's kind of competitive, so he has his own competition with himself.
And
it's true.
And then with your permission, I'm going to take the camera at some point and show the picture of you in your military uniform in that little thing. This is not the same person sitting here that is in that picture over there.
So tell him so you went into surgery with an 8.1 A1C. What is it? 8.8. What is it now?
A month after, Was it a month after they tested me again?
It was less than a month after. Dr. Pope wanted to know what it was. They tested you again August 3rd.
Yeah.
So, okay, it was about a month
Almost
from
a
that
month.
test.
Okay, and what was it then?
It had gone from 8.8 to 6.3.
Whoa.
And
so
they were like, what did you do?
Okay, so I want you to tell about your little thing with the doctor saying, do I get credit for that?
Well, what did Dr. Pope say when he walked in and saw you? Because he hadn't seen you for a while. Remember how he walked in and walked back out?
He walked out and he walked back in and said, "Who are you?"
Let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Pope. Who are you?
Because you'd lost so much weight.
Yeah.
His blood sugars were good. His blood pressure was wonderful. He couldn't believe his weight. He was just flabbergasted. And he's like, make sure I get credit. I'm your doctor, right? Right? I get credit for this.
And you
made me look good.
And you said no.
I don't know if I said that out loud.
the words might have come out.
But I mean, I don't still think he understood what we went through for weeks and weeks and weeks to try and make this happen. Because we experimented with all those snacks and meals and kept track. And, we used, when he finally got off his stuff, he was competing, and we have our chart, and every time he gets below 100 on his blood sugar, he got to highlight it with yellow. Some of our pages are like really good, and others are like, what's going on here? So he has to stay really vigilant. Say years ago, some of the first changes we started to make, besides getting rid of sugar, was we started to make water our drink. So we drink lemon water or regular water.
What had it in?
Well,
Juices, milk.
back in the
Soda.
day when he worked
Soda.
at Sonic, he had his special lemonade raspberry mix that everybody knew about. But we don't drink hardly any soda. But when he was out there, like if we went to a restaurant, it was always lemonade. Mm-hmm. And yes, you can refill my cup. And now it's lemon water, please. And
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
Okay.
But we tried.
But that's a big one. I mean, if you look around and you see what a lot of people do, those sugared drinks, even if you don't think about the sugar when you're getting them, they are sugared.
If you if you drink your calories, you're going to always hurt yourself. And so it's like you need to drink it. But what we basically did was learn what food combinations worked, so that his anything with a carb was always with protein or with the healthy fats. We learned the healthy fats. We learned, how to do all that. And then what was amazing was I used to always read labels, and now when he goes to the store or he picks a package, he reads the label. He's like, nope, I can't have that. Or, they have refreshments at some meeting and they're having ice cream sundaes, and he came home and mixed up some blueberries and peanut butter and had a little snack or favorite snack.
So first of all, you're eating real food.
Real food, completely.
And you're eating
No processed food.
No processed food at all. And you are having to really watch your carbs still. And what his body is doing is healing from all of the 18 years of damage. And
that's 18 plus.
Even
Yeah.
though
Yeah,
because it was damaged long before he was diagnosed. But even though he's eating really well and he's lost a lot of weight, his body is still going through the healing process. So it's not snapping right back as he adds some of the good carbs in. It still shoots your blood pressure up, right?
Sugar.
Blood sugars.
Yeah.
Blood
However,
sugars. Sorry.
We haven't seen where we used to see crazy spikes.
We used to jump up to 150, 160, 170.
Well, those
Noticeable improvements.
those were. And
It'd be interesting to see for those of us who have not ever been diagnosed what happens when we eat a little bit. Like when we eat sugars, we get a sensation. We get
do.
feeling sick.
We can feel
I
sick.
wonder what our blood sugar's doing when that happens. I bet you we're seeing the spikes.
It's probably a combination of the insulin rushing in that we're feeling, because our body is still insulin sensitive. His body
but I'm
wasn't.
just saying, we're not measuring.
Right.
Right.
So
So in the last month, we have, anywhere from an 81 all the way up to 150 something, which is a very rare one now. But mostly they're, in the teens or the low
So your
hundreds.
peak is
Yeah.
steadily dropping.
One time is 157.
You know,
Most of them are 130 or less.
It'd
Right.
be interesting for you to graph that out to see where your highs and lows, how they're trending.
Right,
That would probably be kind of a cool thing to see.
And if you look at, if you read the recommendations by the American Diabetic Association, it says that you could go off metformin, which he was on, if your blood sugars are 130 before you eat and 180 up to 2 hours after you eat. And we're like, no, that's way below our, that's not our standard. That's not what we accept.
And that's what you need to understand, is this is not the recommended ADA diet.
It is not.
If you eat the recommended ADA diet, you will end up with the heart disease. Please let me repeat that. If you eat the ADA diet, you're going to have heart disease that will accompany you. If you're on a heart disease diet, you will have diabetes that accompanies you.
This is from a home health nurse who has watched this happen multiple times with both types of patients.
So I am sure that they have a lot of questions for you. So this is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you, our audience, to put questions down that you have for Gina and Van.
So that we're still
Tuesday night, we'll answer some of those questions, because I'm sure you have questions about, well, what are you eating? And the simple answer is this: they're eating real food, no processed food, they're drinking water, and they're eating protein, lots of vegetables, but not starchy vegetables.
And one of the first things we cut out,
no wheat products.
Well, and see, most people would love to have the grains, and we are hoping to get back to them. But right now, it's baby steps.
Remember, he's healing, so he can't have them yet.
Because even though they're healthy for us, they spike him. But one of the main things we cut out was your soy, anything with soy product in it, because the soy was all processed the wrong way. And so you could say processed, but ranch was the last thing this man could just please give up, because he had to have something familiar and something he enjoyed with his salads. So to say, sorry, that one goes too, we had to start doing homemade dressings.
Now you said familiar, and I know that's a big thing. We have the foods and the flavors that we're familiar with, and that's hard. Have you adjusted? Do you have different flavors that now you find really appealing, and you like those that aren't what you used to have?
Tell me a couple things you enjoy.
Well, I really enjoy peanut butter and celery.
That's his
Did you used
snack.
to enjoy that?
Not as much.
Didn't think about it. And this is natural, completely natural peanut butter.
Yeah, not that processed, full of who knows what peanut butter.
Not hydrogenated.
The ingredients on the jar is peanuts.
Right. Exactly.
That's it.
With a 1% of sea
So no soy,
no
soybean anything, especially soybean oil. And the only fats you eat nuts, avocados, coconut oil.
And only certain nuts.
Only certain nuts.
I eat Brazils, but they're not as good as the.
Well, actually, they have a really high fat and a low carb, so we eat. He was enjoying those. We've had the walnuts, the pecans, the almonds, Brazils. I mean, those are what's most available. And then even though he does pretty well in the peanut butter, we still worry because it's roasted peanuts. So it'd be better if we got healthy raw peanuts and ground them and made our own, because the
you
way
can
they
do
process
that at some of the health food stores.
Yeah, we can find the almonds at one. I think the one we just went to might have that.
Yeah, I was jealous of Van today. We were sitting together at church, and
was he nibbling?
It had been a few hours, so it was time for him to do some things. And I saw him go into his pocket, and he comes out, and I'm like, man, I wish I'd put stuff in my pocket.
Well,
I was hungry.
He used to carry almonds in his pocket at church. So.
Yes, he had
but
walnuts
really,
in his
that's the
pocket
trick,
today.
though, isn't it? It's not letting yourself get so famished that you end up being stupid in what you eat.
Well, it helps with the cravings, but it also helps, like I said, if he goes too long,
It keeps
the
you
blood
balanced.
sugar will start to go up. So
Yes.
he keeps walnuts or almonds in his pocket when he goes to
Which I
meetings
thought
or
was
something.
crazy. Blood sugar going up because you're not eating.
Yeah. Oh.
It's like, wait a minute, I'll eat.
So let me just say one more thing here. Not only does carbohydrates cause the sugar to go up, but stress causes the sugar to go up. Lack of sleep causes the sugar to go up, because it increases your cortisol and your adrenaline, which increases the sugar so the insulin goes in. So it's like you have to live perfect in order for not to have anything. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and end this right here, but really super proud of you, Van. I've known Van since high school. We went to high school together.
Starting to look like you did in high school.
Starting to look like you did in high school. And Jim,
that's the guy I remember.
And Jim is actually down to his wrestling weight almost, so from high school. So.
People that he knew when he was just a year ago, he ran into someone and they just stood there looking at him, and I'm like, I know exactly what they were looking at. They're all trying to figure out where did it go, you know. It's pretty awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ben. We want your questions. Bye.